For those probably observed, Dalton Wagner, who've been running pretty good for us as a third string tackle, working in with the twos a little bit. Unfortunately, had a injury in his foot. It's non-surgical. It doesn't have anything, nothing broken. It's just about a 4 to 6 week window to heal. So he was booted up. We'll make a decision on him. Obviously, he's got a redshirt year in his hip pocket and see where it goes. A couple other guys, River Warnock, unfortunately pulled a hammy. I guess it was 2 days ago, pretty severely. So we knew he was going to be out for all the way up until at least classes started. So we replaced him out of the 105. A couple guys that we held out today, Gary Cross, I think he might have got in there a little bit. He just having a little bit of issue with one hamstring, kind of strained it a little bit. We held him out the last 2 days, tried to go, should be full go with us on Monday. But very excited about what he's doing, what he's bringing. Jake Rollerson had a productive camp. He unfortunately got rolled up on Thursday, an inside drill. Thought he might be able to go today, just wasn't quite ready this morning. So held him out, should be good to go next week. Briston Guidry wasn't out there as well. Briston, unfortunately, his grandmother passed. She fell ill on, I guess it was Thursday or Friday. We sent him home. One of the good things that the NCAA allows us to do is step in those situations and allow him to get home. So I think he got home in time to see her. She unfortunately passed, so we should expect him back sometime early next week to be with us. And then an injury that happened about a week ago, Josh Harris had a little bit of pain in his foot, and that continued to go. And then unfortunately last Saturday early on in the scrimmage, injured his foot as well, one that unfortunately probably be about a 10-week recovery for him. So he, was a guy last year, played some special teams for us. He was probably on the bubble, kind of that same look this week. One of the highlights to today's scrimmage was to get some of our linebackers back, and once we get those guys in the lineup, should be very positive. So with that, the scrimmage itself, I couldn't be. We got a lot of good work in there, man. That was 2.5 hours, almost 2 hours and 45 minutes of good work, hard work, good competition. Rolled some of our twos in with our ones and got to look at our depth. I thought we stressed our guys pretty well. We've covered all down and distance scenarios. I think on defense, a couple guys stood out, to get 23 back in there, to get Scooter back in there. Those guys were in there for the first, you guys weren't in there for the first half. The first half, they were very productive, very dominant, could run really well and do a lot of really good things. Defense definitely plays at a different level when those two are in there together. I think that stood out big time. And then offensively, Austin, again, was really, really productive. Very, very accurate, very in control. We actually pulled him out at half. We let Frank go just because I wanted to give those other quarterbacks a chance to work with him a little bit through those first two series, and then we pulled him out. I thought Cole Kelly in particular threw the ball extremely well, created some plays, extended the play when things broke down around him. I think Ty Story during the course of the week was a little bit more productive and still did some good things today, but those guys continue to battle it out. We got a great decision on our hand there, but I feel really good where we're at. And then I think offensively, you saw Chase Hayden is a guy that belongs on the field. He's a guy that stands out. I think with those three tailbacks, I'm very, very as a head coach, you just go back to reflect to what you've had in the past, and you look about it. And there was a time where I had three guys that were very close. Two of the three rushed for 1,000. The other one was at like 998. That was when I had John Clay, Money Ball, and James White. And this three-man combo is kind of like that. Two very, very big, productive backs, and then another little jitterbug guy, scat back guy, much like Chase is. So I'm very excited about that group. You saw Jeremy Patton get some extended play as well at tight end, a player that continues to get better. We got to get him in shape and get him moving around, but I think that tight end position between Austin Cantrell, who's shown that he can do a lot of good things, but now you throw C.J. O'Grady, Grayson Gunner, and Jeremy Patton into the mix. It's a pretty entertaining crew. Wide receiver, some guys, Deion Stewart, as you saw, makes a lot of plays, catches the ball extremely well, does a lot of really good things. Michael Petway is a big receiver that can do some things after the catch. And then Jordan Jones, he's got to decide to grow up. I got after him a little bit afterwards, and if he wants to get treated like a Division I player, an SEC player, he's got to take coaching, and I think he will. I'm excited. He's a great kid. That has a lot of ability, so I'm very excited about offense. Offensive line took a little. That first series wasn't crisp, but after that they were all pretty good. I really like the development of Colton Jackson. Has probably had his two best weeks of practice. I think with Johnny Gibb and Brian Wallace, we got to continue to put their feet to the fire and press them a little bit. So other than that, we hit the field goals. Cole Hedlund came back in and hit the ball very, very well. Blake Mazas hit it extremely well. Blake didn't punt the ball overly well today, but he'd been one of the most productive guys till today, and obviously today counted because it was the biggest crowd we had. So we'll address that and continue to make him move forward. Cole Kelly also hit 2 55-yard punts in the first part of practice as well as our number 2 punter. So it's kind of fun to see that big man back there punting the ball pretty well as well. So exciting for that. With that, open it up for questions. Josh Liddell probably has had, we've had 14 practices, and he's probably had the 14 best practices of his career. He's really bought in. He's big ears, as always. He's really taken the coaching, plays within the extremes of what he can play. I think Paul summed it at best. He's always in the right position. His eyes are always in the right spot, and he seems to make all the right plays.
Seems like your freshmen are making a lot of plays from what we've seen.
Yeah, that's and it's probably so last night I had a team meeting. I cleared out the guys that kind of have started SEC games and proved that they can play winning football in the SEC, that they can win. Cleared all the first-year players out of there, so all freshmen that came in either in January or in the summer and left in there guys that have been here or transfers. And I just said, listen, this is a different time now. Some of these freshmen, we've been able to recruit better athletes, guys that can run, guys that can play, and I'm not going to sit them. If you're a guy that's been in the program year 2, year 3, year 4, and you haven't done it yet, there's somebody on your heels. And today was a big day to make the step forward. But I do believe Cameron Curl made a nice play. Chevin Callaway is extremely productive. Hayden Henry, I like that other Henry, but this one's pretty good too. I think if you take the 2 guys that we signed late, Hayden Henry and Ty Clary from here in Fayetteville, those 2 kids are going to be really good football players, and very glad to have them in our program.
Well, those guys counting forward, or where do they count?
Come on, Murph. They're going to count where they count. What do you mean? You mean for scholarship?
Yeah.
To be determined. Before, who usually calls it Nate? Who usually asks the Buster? Who wants to ask it today? Anybody want to ask it? All right, yeah. It seems everything is in order. We're really, truly just waiting on the final paperwork to come through. I had hoped our best case scenario is to get him here Monday, Tuesday. I think there's a chance we'll get him in next week, but we have to have someone drop out of the 105. If not, he'll be with us on the first day of classes.
We saw Cameron Curl with the diving interception. Can you maybe talk about him bouncing back?
Yeah. Cam, like I said, one of those freshmen Cam is very, very genetically gifted, raised in a great home. Pop's mom pushed him, and he had a lot of interest there late. Highly recruited kid that we were very fortunate that we felt to get him in. And he's a size to play corner. He can play safety, but I think at corner he just plays very, very smart, makes lots of plays on the ball. He's physical. There's no doubt he can play from the line of scrimmage. I think we're just scratching the surface of what he can be. I think him and Chevin both have kind of separated themselves defensively as DBs that'll probably play for us.
Have you ever recalled a summer or August that has been this mild, and does it bother you that it hasn't really gotten hot?
Yeah, when I was in Wisconsin. Well, we've gotten in some hot days out there, and then we've gone inside, plus the work they got in this summer. I think that part has been real. But yeah, we've right now, other than the mock game at night, all of our practices are scheduled in the middle of the afternoon. So I think we'll continue to stress that. But our guys, man, we grinded hard Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I gave them a little reprieve. We went and took them into a movie, then took them to the Rogers Aquatic Center. Was well deserved. It was fun to see them react that way, and then they gave us a great Friday and a great today. So I really like the workmen. I like this group. I like the way they work. They put their head down. They go to work. They take coaching. If they don't take coaching, they stick out like a sore thumb, and I think everybody gets on them for it. So I like where they're at. Girls Trip. We saw a chick flick. I think it was called Girls Trip, wasn't it? Yeah. I was going to take Detroit, but that was a little 2.5 hours, and there was other sci-fi, so we settled on Girls Trip. I got a few roll of the eyes, but it was actually pretty entertaining. I even watched it. Yeah, so when Cole and Ty are working with the ones, I want to see who can be that fourth guy, really, battling it out. And Carson Proctor and Jack Lindsay, 2 very, very talented non-scholarship players that I don't think anybody even really knows that. The guys on the team just see them as guys that go out there and compete. I think Jack there's something about that gene, you know. I mean, obviously, Mr. Lindsey had something special, and of course, I know Lindy and what he's been able to accomplish in life. And Jack's just got that something to him, you know. Very productive, smart, intelligent, engaged, big, productive, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Carson Proctor comes out of Florida. Again, a very, very productive kid, great kid out of a great family, makes a lot of great decisions. He threw that ball to Jordan Jones last week on the boundary over there. He's got a nice touch on the deep ball. Carson turned down probably 8 to 10 Division I offers at some non-power fives to walk on here and chase his dreams. So Lenny Jankowski is a good friend of mine down there in South Florida that recommended him, and glad to have him in the program. Yeah, but I got on yelled at our defense. We had a lot of our ones on the sideline. It was kind of our makeshift twos out there. But yeah, Jack did a lot of good things. He didn't turn the ball over. He made wise decisions and made a couple big plays in the throw game.
Brett, we had with the backup quarterbacks when you had a timetable when you started in that gap, just most of the second rep.
Yeah, so we took a day this week each, Tuesday and Wednesday, where they took them. We'll have a big personnel meeting tomorrow at 1:30. We'll grade the film today, watch film tonight. Tomorrow the staffs will watch it. I'll ask them to prioritize, and then we'll kind of go into a big meeting and talk about it. I'm not so concerned over next week yet, you know, through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But, you know, go 2 weeks out from the game. I think we need to have an idea of who that guy is in a pecking order.
How did Cole do Wednesday when he had
Okay. I would say that if you were just an observer sitting there at the new football a little bit, you watch Tuesday and Wednesday, you'd say Ty probably performed a little bit better on Tuesday than Cole did on Wednesday. But then might be flipping today, you know, just by the way Cole was able to make some plays. So the good news is they're both good players. They're both competing, and they're not no one's succumbing to the other anyway soon.
Well, I think it was last spring that you told us that you'd looked into all the foot injuries.
Yeah.
And all the factors.
Yeah.
Anything that you guys can put
No, other than it's a pretty common factor. NFL, other colleges. You know, we were discussing the other day with another team that we had reached out to that had I believe it had 6 foot fractures since spring. You know, and really our numbers kind of coincide with everybody else. Actually, Matt Summers did a nice job, pulled up competitive data from the NFL, and what was amazing in the NFL, the 2 highest numbers recorded. See, colleges you don't have to record it, you know, because of HIPAA and all that stuff. But you got to do it word of mouth. But NFL tracks that stuff, and the 2 highest productive numbers were wide receivers and linebackers, which is what it had been for us, you know, as of late. So again, the only common thing, I think it's always been our bigger guys at that position. Jonathan Williams at run. Well, of course, Jonathan was different. You know, Jonathan, you know, you can just say he has a foot injury, but he got tackled from behind and landed on by who was my big tackle back then? Yeah, it was Haji. Yeah, Haji landed on him, so you know, it probably hurt all of our feet. You know, but other guys have kind of been different things. There's a difference between a Liz Frank and a fifth metatarsal, so there's all kinds of different things that factor into it. I think today's athletes are bigger, stronger, faster, and everybody wants that shoe to get smaller and lighter, and I think there's a common give there.
Right here in a couple of weeks when the eclipse goes through, is that happening during the day before you get your hands on them, or do you have any plans with how that's going to impact practice or whatever?
I have no idea what you're even talking about.
Solar eclipse? No. All right. There you
I know what an eclipse is. I don't know who got one coming. I've been worried about that other stuff. I gotta get Twitter updates on.
Brett, this is a while from now, but where are you
I'm sorry, I don't.
Where are you guys going to go meet at halftime during games? Are you going to visit your locker room?
Yeah, Mark and they've walked me through it. So I'll give you what I know, right? So we've redone the visiting locker room to make that our locker room, which was a really nice locker room. I always thought we kind of took it too well on our opponents. So now we have that locker room. Believe they're going to the cheerleading locker room, old cheerleading locker room. Other than that, I really don't know. So when we come back from, is it next Friday is our Northwest Arkansas Razorback, the luncheon deal that we all go to. We're going to come back and kind of simulate the hog walk that we'll take in the fall down into our locker room, and then next Friday night under the lights we'll do a mock game and make it as real as possible. I think they're even talking about having a band out there and to modify running through the A and to make sure everything's right. So the first time we do it, it's not live against TCU, you know. So we'll walk through all that stuff in the future.
Kicker, did you say Evans #1 there, and then today you had him working off the same hash? Was there an emphasis there? Or was that just
Well, we worked off the left. Yeah, in the beginning, you took 2 from each hash, so there was 2 on the left and 2 on the right. Then during the course of scrimmage, it's kind of just where the ball laid. I don't know if Cole had more on the left or right. I don't know. And then at the end, when you had that many bodies out there, when we tried to do that rapid fire and have everybody yelling and screaming, I keep them on. It's just pandemonium out there. And if you try to move the kickers throughout, those are little guys, and they get lost in traffic. So we just keep them on the hashes when we got everybody out there.
Would you say he's the #1 kicker right now?
Cole?
Yeah.
Well, if we had to play tomorrow in the first kick, I'd probably put him out there. But my man Maserati, he's doing all right. He's done some nice stuff. Connor Limper would probably be our field goal kicker, and Blake would be our punter. Our #2 punter would be Cole. Our #2 kicker would be either Blake or Cole, Blake Mazza or Cole Headland, and then our #2 kickoff guy would be Mazza.
Has Lippert done a good job getting him in the end zone?
He was okay. Yeah, he's been pretty good. I've kind of just let him devote himself to kicking that ball. A left-footed kicker on kickoff puts another spin on it, and then he can also punt. So as a left-footed punter, that brings a whole new game to it as well. And he actually can do rugby to the left, which is a nice added feature.
As far as live tackling goes, are you down to the
We've tackled pretty well, so I'm going to take an assessment tomorrow. I know Coach Rhodes and I had a discussion of next week doing something maybe on Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday. By NCAA rules, you have to abide by that being a full contact day, so it can only either be Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday next week. And just as well as we've tackled, I don't know how much more we'll do. Maybe with the younger guys, but the guys that have shown me they can tackle, I'm not overly pressed on it right now.
Say Cole Kelly was punting?
I did. I could just see your article.
I didn't notice. He punted before?
We punted today.
Maybe before today.
Well, I would hope so. He looked pretty damn good for punting today. If he had done it, he did in high school. Yeah. Everybody claims they punted in high school. Austin Allen punted in high school, but he got rejected. BA, we punted him during practice a couple times, but he didn't ever make the game cut. So yeah, he punted in high school and he turns it over really well. I'm not saying his operation time was great, but he could. And then you get the element back there that he can throw the football. In addition to being back there, it's kind of neat to play with.
How'd Devil do today?
I thought him and David both made some nice cuts. I think Devois is from last year to this year had made improvement. I think what we need to make a dramatic improvement with both those guys is pass protection, assignments, and details. But we kind of handicap them a little bit too. We're not letting them cut block, which running backs, once they can bring that into their bag of tricks, opens up a whole nother level of pass protection. So I'm excited with that option as well.
Coach, is Chase Hayden maybe doing the best job, at least when we've seen making something out of nothing, running?
I think that's fair. I do. I think he's a running back that when the answer isn't there and it isn't real clear, he can make something on nothing. He has the ability to bounce, jump cut, make some plays. He's got very, very good vision. I tell you what, he's a tough kid too. I mean, you can label him as that small guy or a little bit undersized, but his dad's as big as a house. His dad's a big back, and he taught him how to run big. I mean, he's a productive player.
Any more questions, Coach? Okay.
Appreciate it. Have a good weekend.